Welcome back. Continuing our journey on learning the neural networks, in the last couple of videos we have seen how a single neuron model can be used to implement a standard linear regression model. And we have also seen how the weights, the output at each of the edges after the activation function is applied and the activation function is represented in the last video. In this video, we will be using all the concepts that we have learned from our last couple of videos to implement a standard linear regression model using a multi-layered perceptron. This is actually vital to understand how multi-layered perceptron works and how multiple neurons can be combined to reach out to a desired output, how the learning is done, learning of the weights is done when there are multiple activation functions and multiple weights at different layers combined together. Okay, so let's start. As explained earlier, we can use any model's loss function to implement a multi-layered perceptron. So we will be using our generalizing our formation of multi-layered perceptron in this video. So let's say you have been given a model whose loss function is defined as L, and for this loss function, for this model using this loss function, if you want to determine or train the multi-layered perceptron at hand, then what all things do you need to have? First of all, you need to have the loss function of the model that you're planning to implement. So let's say the model that you're planning to implement has a loss function that is defined by L. After that, let's say that the given data set, after that you need your data set on which the multi-layered perceptron will be trained, and let's say your data set has 4 features. So each of the data points will be having 4 dimensions. So that means that each of the data points will have components as xi1, xi2, xi3 and xi4. So finally, for training your multi-layered perceptron, what exactly do you need to do? You need to determine the weights that are present on each of the connecting edges. So here, if you see, we have 4 features being fed as input to our 3 activation functions. So how many weights do you need to determine over here? You need to determine 12 weights. Over here, if you see, we have, for each of the activation functions on hidden layer 2, you have 2 outputs going as input to the functions of hidden layer 3. So in total, you have 3 activation functions over here, and you have 2 activation functions in hidden layer 2. So how many total weights do you need to determine over here? And this is equal to 6. If you see the connection from hidden layer 3 to the output layer, you have only 2 connections over here. So 2 activation functions are giving input to just 1 activation function. So how many weights do you need to determine over here? Just 2. So in total, your multi-layered perceptron can be said as trained if you determine the value of all the weights that are there on the connecting edges. So in total, you need to determine 20 weights. Now, using the generic notation that we learned in our last video, let's try to represent which all weights do we need to exactly find. So for the connecting edges that are going to the hidden layer 1 as input, the weights that we need to determine are W1, 1, 1, W1, 1, 2. So this W11 means that this weight that is going as input to our first activation function from the first component of our input. This W112 means that this weight represents the edge that is going as an input to the first hidden layer from the first component of our input to the second activation function. So then we have W113. that is the weight of the edge that is going as input to the first hidden layer from the first component of our input to the third activation function. Similarly, we have 4 components over here, so the weights will be W1, 21, W1, 22, W1, 23 for the second component of our input. Then we will have W1, 31, W1, 32, W1, 33 for the third component, this component. And for the last component, we will have W1, 41, W1, 42, W1, 43. So in total, if you see here, we have 4 rows, 3 columns, so 12 weights. For the weights that are here, that are connecting the edges to the hidden layer 3, we have our matrix as weight matrix as W2. That this means that the weight is of that edge that is going as an input to the second hidden layer from the first activation function to the from the first activation function from hidden layer 1 to the first activation function of hidden layer 2. And then we also have a weight of the edge that is going as hidden layer that is going as input to hidden layer 2 from the first activation function of hidden layer 1 to second activation function of hidden layer 2. And because we have 3 activation functions here, similarly the next set of weights will be W221. That is the weight, this weight represents the weight on the edge that is going as input to the second hidden layer from second activation function of the first hidden layer to first activation function of second hidden layer, and its pair will be W222. W222 is this one. Similarly, for this activation function, we will have the weights as W231 and W232. Okay, so as you can see, we have 3 rows, 2 columns, so 6 weights. For these 2 weights, okay, they are pretty much clear in themselves, but still let's write them out. So we have W311. This means the weight that is connecting the edge going as input to the third hidden layer, to the third layer or the output layer from the first activation function to the first activation function of hidden layer 2 to the first activation function of hidden layer 3. And it's and we have one more weight that is okay, that is W321. W321 is here. So W311 over here, W321 over here. This means that this weight represents the edge of the this weight represents the weight on the edge that is going as input to the output layer, that is the third layer, first activation function from the second activation function of hidden layer 2. So in total we have 12 plus 6 plus 2, that is 20 weights. Now that we know which all weights do we need to determine, let's move on to understand how they are determined. So again, the weight determination process is same as what we learned in the single neuron training, in the single neuron model training, and it's the steps are almost all the same. We will just have a quick recap. So first of all, what we need to have is the loss function at hand for the model that we are going to implement, and we need to determine the rate of change of this loss function with respect to the rate of change of each of the specific weights, and based on how we are going to minimize our loss function, the weights are optimized. And how are the weights optimized? By solving the optimization problem. And what is the optimization problem? Optimization problems are basically about finding out the optimal values of each of the weights so that the loss function minimizes. Okay, so let's quickly define how we will be reaching out to, let's go step by step to how we'll actually be implementing this whole methodology. Okay, so what is step 1? Step 1 Step 1 is about identifying the loss function or defining the loss function for your model. Defining the loss function. So let's say if you are going to implement standard linear regression problem, what will be the loss function? The loss function will look like sigma of yi minus yi cap whole square plus the regularization part. So if you, and also the loss that is given at any specific point in our data set will be equal to that is the loss at that point. Okay, what is step 2? Step 2 is identifying or understanding the optimization problem. So what is the optimization problem? As already explained, the optimization problem is all about, okay, let's first mention what is step 2. Step 2 is about identifying the optimization problem. Identifying and basically understanding as well, but identifying the optimization problem. And what exactly is the optimization problem? What are you exactly optimizing? You are actually trying out to find the value of the unknowns in your loss function such that your loss function minimizes, such that the loss value calculated using your loss function minimizes. So that is your optimization problem. So optimization problem is about finding out the value of unknowns or the optimal value of the unknowns that minimize your loss function L, loss value L. So over here, as already explained in the single neuron model training video, what is the unknown given? Because you have already been given with your data set, you have the xi's and yi's at hand. There is only one thing that is unknown, and the unknowns are just your weights. So what is the optimization problem for any given model which has a loss function of L? The optimization problem looks like, optimization problem is about solving the loss function in such a way, solving the loss function using the optimal value of the unknown, that is weights over here, or finding out the optimal value of the unknowns that minimize your loss function. So this is your optimization problem. Let's move on to step 3. What is step 3? These are remember, these are all just the things that we discussed in our single neuron model training video. So these steps are all the same. I'm just reviewing them so that you get to remember all these things. So what is step 3? Step 3 is finally, now that you have that you know what is your loss function and you know what is your optimization problem, step 3 is about solving the optimization problem. Solve the optimization problem at hand. And how do you solve the optimization problem? You if you have already if you have good grasp over machine learning, you will be knowing that for solving the optimization problem, we either use gradient descent, or we use stochastic gradient descent, or we use batch stochastic gradient descent. So all these methods are there, and all the gradient descent techniques that you use again have 3 major steps that you need to understand and remember. What is the first step? Let's say you're going to use stochastic gradient descent. So stochastic gradient descent steps, let's change the color for now. Okay, so what are the stochastic gradient descent? So you will be solving the problem is you need to solve the optimization problem, and what is the solution? The solution is use gradient descent, stochastic gradient descent, or batch stochastic gradient descent. So let's now try to understand how stochastic gradient descent works. So the first step in stochastic gradient descent is, the first step is to initialize the unknowns randomly. And what are the unknowns over here? We have the unknowns here as the weights that are there on our connecting edges. So we need to first initialize the unknown variable. This is the first step, unknown variable. which here are WKIJs. Using this notation, we are trying to generalize all the weights that are there in our multi-layered perceptron model. So we need to initialize the unknown variables, which are the weights over here which are the weights that are there in our multi-layered perceptron model. Okay, so first step is about initializing the unknown variables randomly. Randomly means you can take any value and then start from there. The second step in stochastic gradient is about updating the weights using the update function. What does updation mean? Updating the weights. What does updation mean? Updating the weights. And why do we require updation at all? So because we have started from a random value of our unknowns, we need to reach or update our weights continuously until and unless we reach a point where the update function does not until we reach the convergence point. And what is the convergence point? The convergence point is that point where the updation of the weights using the equation, the update equation, does not matter significantly. That is, your W, the weights, the new weight that is being that was calculated after updating the old weight at hand. So okay, we are actually trying to first define our update function. This is the update function, and then I will explain how the update works once again, because I've already explained it in the single neuron training video. So WKIJ new equals to WKIJ old plus, see here I'm actually trying to differentiate the key point or our key action. This is the learning rate of our activation function. This is the learning rate, and we are actually differentiating. We are trying to find out rate of change of our loss with respect to the rate of change of a specific weight at hand. At which point? At WKIJ old. So this is your update function. This basically is your update function using which you keep on updating your weights starting from the random value from which you started until you reach convergence, where the WKIJ old is similar to similar to WKIJ new, such that they don't have much of significant difference. So this is the update function using which we update the weights, and the updation happens using this equation in which we need to determine the rate of change of our loss with respect to that specific weight calculated at that using the old value from the last step, or old weight value from the last step, and we add this whole amount to WKIJ old to determine the new weight. If you have not understood this, this means that you are not good with the linear regression gradient descent video, gradient descent concept. And if you want me to make a video on that, please let me know. For now, you just need to understand that the weights are updated in any gradient descent method using this formula. Okay, so these are the okay, so let's move to the third step in stochastic gradient. So first is initialize the unknown variables, which are the weights over here, randomly, then update the weights using the update equation or the update function, and the third step is that continue. Okay, let's we'll just be breaking down. Continue the weight updation until convergence. Continue weight updation until convergence. Convergence is, as I already defined, convergent point is that point where the new determined weight using this update function is same as the weight determined at the last step and does not vary or change significantly. So perform updates till convergence, where the old and new values converge. As explained earlier, the key step in the gradient descent methodology is finding out this part of the update equation, that is the rate of change of the loss calculated with respect to the rate of change of the old weight. So how is it actually calculated? This is the most critical and interesting part on when we try to understand how the weights are, or specific weights are found out, the optimal weights are found out. This is the key part to determine, because we are already 20 minutes in this video and we are yet to cover how the weights are trained and how the rate of change in our loss function is calculated with respect to the change in our weights. This video may turn to be quite long, so I have decided to break this video in two parts. That is, I've decided to break the training of multi-layer perceptron into two parts. This part 1 you have already covered. We'll be covering the remaining part 2, that is part 2, in our upcoming video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if this video was helpful. You have a great day ahead.